Where Welcome to the Postgame of the Michael Brooks Show. Welcome to everybody. Thanks to each and every one of you as we continue to grow by leaps and bounds. Thank you to Emma Vigeland. I wouldn't say that in public. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I was going to set up a joke that I totally messed up, which is what I like to do at times is before I introduce anything, I like to just be like, yeah, but I wouldn't say that on air, and then make the co-host feel uncomfortable.
Good one.
I mistimed it. It usually is a good one. Anyways, Emma Vigeland is here. She's a huge Elizabeth Warren supporter.
Can you guys hear me? I can't hear myself.
Can you hear yourself?
Yes, there we go. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And she's dedicated to smearing Tulsi Gabbard.
Like, I am. Well,
Welcome, everybody. We have a lot to get
you.
to. Is this, and of course, to Matt and David, is the sound all cleared up? We good?
I'll confirm that.
Let's confirm how the sound is.
1, 2. Yes, I can hear myself. I don't know why I'm like.
There's no complaints so far.
All right, there's no complaints. Okay, we are going to get to the first segment of the post game, and that is Mr. Ben Burgis. He is author of Give Them an Argument, Logic for the Left. Check out his Patreon. He's also a professor of logic. That's how Jesse Lee Peterson said it. Yeah, he said logic.
Talk something up there.
That was a lot, Emma.
That's,
he went method.
Yeah.
That's
attractive.
A professor of logic at Perimeter State College at the University of Georgia. And also a new piece, Socialism and Human Nature, for what is the publication, Ben?
Arc Digital.
Arc Digital. Love it. And he is also the inspiration behind this incredible theme song. Ben, are you excited to hear your song?
I mean, I'm just having trouble expressing how excited I am without saying something to get you demonetized. So, yeah.
I've already ruined that.
Yeah, Emma was working on that.
Did not realize.
Emma got her marching orders from the Warren Brain Trust. They were just like, would you like a gluten-free cinnamon cookie?
He is
For future
doubling
reference,
down.
Never ask a question about killing civilians and demonetize the Michael Brooks Show. I want to go to mockery really
You want to keep going?
So please go.
Okay.
You got to restrain me. Debunk all of it. Logical analysis. You're going to show us how to argue now. Go. The other one.
Auto-tuned?
So this is based on data from a bunch of different countries. There's abundant evidence that at this point that's bullshit. Arguments, looking at how they're supposed to fit together.
Okay, break it down. Break it down. Ben Burgis, welcome. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good. Of course, you're here with the great Emma Vigeland.
What's
Emma.
up, Ben? Good
Hey,
job
Emma.
on Anna's show. I saw a little bit of it. She's my sworn enemy, so
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the most difficult parts about the dynamic of this show is mediating between the hatred of Anna and Emma, and they're not even always on the show.
I was just saying to Michael off air that being friends with Anna is like one of the best part of my job. She's the best.
That's what I was saying to not say on air.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not PC.
Yeah, it's not PC. So amazing. So Anna's one of your best friends. Amazing. That was the best part of Jesse Lee Peterson.
She's a good friend of mine.
No, of
I don't want to
course.
come on too strong, Anna.
Anna's the best.
She's so great.
Anna's absolutely one of my favorite people. Actually, not just in the game, like period. But I do like the Jesse Lee Peterson approach of either like repeating I'm thinking of this because Anna played part of Ben's Jesse Lee Peterson interview.
Yeah.
And he either repeats or but like, I think Anna made this point. She said anytime he's cornered, that's when he says amazing.
That's right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to start incorporating in my own life.
It's very positive.
Like girlfriend gives me a problem. Amazing. I love it. All right, Ben, what are we dealing with tonight? What do you have? You're a professor of logic. Do logic for us.
Well, since absolutely Nobody made any kind of point at the debate that was actually interesting that we hadn't covered before.
This was the worst one.
Horrible debate.
Horrible debate. Just really like
and the one they flew me out to LA for, so this sucks to pay for that.
Bless me, Father, if I have sinned.
That's the best part of Joe Biden.
And yeah, the only thing actually better than the debate itself was how fun it was to be told by the media that Joe Biden had like a normal night and that was fine.
Yeah, that was. How did you feel about the Julian Castro pearl clutching by the establishment press?
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure if people are clear on the concept that Biden is running to be the nominee and then he would like do debates with Donald Trump, who I'm pretty sure wouldn't be that nice about it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. Never make a joke about your memory. My mistake.
I wouldn't go there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there. There's a certain level of decorum. By the way, Joe's wife wants to blow me. She sent me a note backstage.
Exactly.
She did. I said no because I respect marriage.
I was gonna make a really dark joke about her being the one that died. Never mind. Keep going.
Wow.
Just because that's how far Trump would go. Jeez, this show's good.
She got into she was driving bad because I gave her the best night of her life, Joe.
Oh man.
Sorry and sorry.
I didn't start anything with the wife.
All right, August Ben, sir. Now it's time for the debunk after the Donald Trump fucked Joe Biden's deceased wife material.
Jesus, I'm feeling too loose and limber here. I definitely.
No, we're good.
went
We
too
were
far.
actually saying that if Biden, I think this was actually Brendan's concept that we're elaborating on, that if it's Biden and Trump, the debate questions will be at the bottom of Jell-O cups.
If it's Biden and Trump, they'll just be one syllable of like, just because like Biden just continues to slur his words together. So does Trump. It'll just be like,
I don't know.
Trump is a lot more coherent right now than Biden.
Trump is. He's more confident in his.
Yeah, it's just like, oh wow, I'm losing my mind. Whoa, what an impediment on my performance.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're both sundowning in similar ways, but it just doesn't bother Trump the same way, so he's cooler about it.
I don't know. I played that clip of Trump talking about John Bolton was not sundowning.
Yeah.
That was extremely coherent.
But also, like, Bolton said that in April 2018, so why not fire him then? That is the logic of my argument, Ben.
Yeah, and then we talk about Medora.
Well, the Trump's advantage is he can just revert to like 12-year-old bully, which it doesn't require a high level of like computational
Yeah, that's not a high
processing.
level of cognitive function.
Biden's trying to be a statesman with like a of the last 40 years. Like, yeah.
You know, maybe people had said that it's lucky that Joe's wife wasn't here because she perhaps would have wanted to marry me. It would be Trump to take an actually absolutely horrible tragic thing that had that Joe Biden maybe leans into a bit and be like the first
reason I'm even bringing it
and
up.
be like the first person to just be like, everybody's sick of hearing about it, Joe.
Trump would do it, and like the media would be outraged, and then it would go away because
100%.
literally the only one that cares about decorum is the establishment press.
Absolutely.
And the other politicians.
I do like, though, the concept of Rahm Emanuel explaining what mean is.
Oh, I loved that. Thank you so much for saying that, Medicare for all or single payer activists were effing
retards. He said that.
No, he said retarded.
He said retarded.
Yeah,
Whatever. Oh, he said whatever.
Yeah. And his whole persona.
Well, he covered up the murder of a child.
From his recent greatest hits, like helping cover up a murder.
Right.
Right.
Like just like going back to like his whole like the legend of Rahm Emanuel, like when the like Aaron Sorkin was basing West Wing characters on him and stuff. It's all about. Isn't it great what a like entertaining asshole he is that he's like sending people dead fish in the mail. And this guy wants to like
Ben, did you see that 9/11 clip that was circulating from the newsroom on Twitter last week?
Yes.
That is absolutely, without exaggeration, the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life, to the point because I feel super physically uncomfortable for other people, and I was watching that alone, like no one else is seeing it. I hope no one else, because if someone else is seeing it, it will be embarrassing.
At my desk at TYT, cringing so hard I thought I popped a blood vessel in my eye, a la Joe Biden.
That's what happened, was that Simone Sanders,
when he sees the like, first of all, my uncle's a pilot for United. It's not that glamorous, dude. Like, I don't see him every day when he walks into Thanksgiving dinner with his pilot wings on his lapel, like 9/11. Right?
Yeah, maybe if you're so worried about the pilots, the guy should have tried to help them negotiate better union benefits. But actually, probably that is what happened with Joe Biden, actually, right? Simone Sanders, and all of her insight as a strategist, she saw that he was nervous before the debate, before the Forum on Climate Change, and she said, "Oh, I'll show him this clip from the newsroom to relax him." And then he popped a blood vessel because he was so embarrassed watching it. Simone Sanders' fault. Ben?
Yeah. So,
all right, I'm probably just as fair warning, I probably will have one or two more Trump Biden wife jokes. I know myself well enough to know.
I got the ball rolling.
I know myself well enough to know that they're coming. But let's start with the debunk.
Sure, but let's see if we can get through it. So, so this is something
really felt very undergraduate right there.
ABC accepted as an advertisement during the debate from some Republican PAC.
Yes.
And I actually don't really want to set it up, because I think that it's better to just get the full effect of seeing it without seeing it coming.
All right, let's play this. ABC. This was played during the debate.
This is the face of socialism and ignorance. Does Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez know the horror of socialism? My father was minutes from death in Cambodia before a forced marriage saved his life. That's socialism. Forced obedience, starvation. Mine is a face of freedom. My skin is not white. I'm not outrageous, racist, nor socialist. I'm a Republican.
Wow.
The burning of Ocasio-Cortez's face might be a little problematic. They aired that during the Democratic debate.
That was also just kind of funny, because it's like, here's like a friendly young person smiling at you, like, okay, looks like an all right face of socialism. All right, Ben, that's a lot to debunk.
Yeah. So look, there's a slightly saner version of this argument, where instead of talking about like Pol Pot's Cambodia, you talk about like the Soviet Union in the 80s or something like that, and say, okay, in many ways that was an authoritarian and dysfunctional society who started reform. So if you people are talking about socialism, that's just going to be the same thing. Right. And when people like us say, well, that's not really the kind of model of social organization we're advocating. What we're actually advocating is is democratizing the economy, is increasing the degree of democracy, not instituting one party, authoritarian rule. Then people will say, oh, well, you're just like, at this point, you're just playing with words. You're doing some like no true Scotsman thing. Nothing counts because it wasn't right. We can't like, you're just disqualifying all the evidence of, how bad socialism is. And that's and I think that's silly for two reasons. One is that first of all, if we are going to talk about the semantic issue, what we mean, well, historically, most people have used the word socialism to mean democratizing the economy before the rise of Stalinism. So that's a little bit like saying that you're committing no true Scotsman when you say that somebody born in Nova Scotia isn't a Scotsman. But then, like,
Matt says that all the time.
That's right. But then, like, on a deeper level than that, even beyond that, right? We can just sort of put aside the semantic issue and which societies you're going to apply which labels to, and just say, okay, what we're talking about is expanding democracy through some combination of nationalizations, workers' cooperatives, things like that. And we could actually point to a lot of historical instances in which some elements of that have actually worked very well. So, we could talk about lots of cases in which democratic governments have administered some industries as public utilities, and it's worked out very well. The NHS in Britain, is an obvious example where even after it's been undermined so much in the last few decades, it's still so wildly popular that even the Tories have to pretend to want to keep it going. And there are lots of successful examples of workers' cooperatives like Mondragon in Spain, which we've talked about here before. And so again, that's even when it comes to the sane version of this argument. This is just several levels more ludicrous than that, because what you're pointing out, your example of the horrors of socialism is the Khmer Rouge, which, not to be too, petty about, bringing up the record keeping here, but that's not even a horror of the Soviet side of the Cold War. That's a horror of our side of the Cold War.
We backed the Khmer Rouge.
Yeah, we
found one communist group that we could actually partner with.
Yeah, when communist Vietnam invaded Cambodia to try to stop the killing fields, the United States backed the Khmer Rouge. And I think it's really important every time we talk about this to note that this isn't some conspiracy theory or something that some people think is true.
No. A lot of people didn't know.
Yeah. This is a matter of historical record.
They say she's a doctor, but that's... She wanted me to play doctor, but I said no, Joe. Don't worry.
But yeah, you can look at the UN votes, on which government in Cambodia to recognize. It's public record on that level.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I will say, I think, AOC, her tone, which is very upbeat and positive, would be very exhausting if she was a member of the Khmer Rouge. I think they had a lot of insult to injury.
I think she's like a little more intense than you might realize.
Oh, of course, undoubtedly. How could she be where she is if she wasn't?
Yeah.
I mean, it comes actually. What comes across with the one diversion I'll say with AOC, her questionings in Congress.
Ooh.
She's masterful.
Ooh.
She's so good at it right out of the gate, and that's where it clearly comes. I mean, that's my favorite part, obviously. Ben.
Yeah. No, when she interrogates people, these congressional hearings about whether they would support clearing the cities and, killing all the intellectuals, it's very riveting.
Went over my head.
That's part of her Khmer Rouge test question.
Who
she endorsed, Warren or Sanders. She's like, I hear a lot about the Green New Deal, but I don't hear about people with glasses. Bernie Sanders, how would you go back to year zero? Thank you. That's right. Elizabeth Warren, I love your plans on regulation. However, how do we dismantle the entire bourgeoisie structure from the beginning? I have advocated burning libraries because of the poison and falsehoods that they spread. Would you support that? Thank you. I would not be interested in Joe Biden. He has not mentioned killing a single small shop owner.
I think that the cadence, you've kind of gotten it down. It makes it so much more effective.
I need to really get the Ilhan Omar down so it can be like the Ilhan Omar, I, Ilhan Omar, call for a complete ban on the construction of Applebee's until we figure out what the hell is going on with white people. But that's in the future. Ben Burgis.
Nice.
Appreciate it as always. We will see you soon.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you, brother. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a bad, and I'll call in. I'll try to take a few calls tonight because we haven't taken calls for weeks. So I will try to call in. But can you set up, how are we going to do this, by the way, Matt?
This is the Klobuchar clip, and it's slightly sped up.
Okay, because they're, obviously it's surprising to me because Bill Maher is so cool because he smokes weed, but they're not chill, man, about copyrights. So we're going to speed up this clip. Our friend Crystal Ball, who we should say is going to be with us in Philadelphia at the live show.
There's the
World
plug.
Cafe, Artesia Balthrop, Emma Vigeland, Crystal Ball, having a much more fun time with us than she did in this clip, I would guess. I'm sure she had a great time on the show, though.
Oh my
Get your
God.
tickets. We will see you in November.
I can't believe you let her on. Oh, sorry. I need to let you finish the plug.
I want to hear that riff. I like where that's going. We want to insult Bill acknowledge our friendship with Crystal, where we pull off the balancing act of her still getting invited on the show.
Yes.
So that's what we have to pull off, Emma. So
Well, this is the post game, so it's a little looser.
it is a little looser. It's a lot looser. So Crystal Ball was on Bill Maher, and this leads us to ask a very important question, especially if you're Matt, which is smoking weed actually bad for your brain? Because Bill Maher said this.
That's what the Democrats have to stop.
Can I present a scenario? I think this might be one of those years where it's the discussion Mike and I were having. It's that they can't get over that centrist versus socialist thing. So Elizabeth Warren at some point.
What does he mean by one of those years?
By the way,
Yeah.
Matt, we did not play the opening package for this, so can we just do that in the middle?
Oh yeah, let's get to that later. We'll wrap it up with that. Well, because I can't
Sure,
cut off.
okay,
of
that
this.
works. That works. No, that actually works. All right, go ahead.
Elizabeth Warren at some point takes Bernie's voters. He drops out. It's Warren and Biden. And they go to the convention, and it's deadlocked. This has happened before in American politics, and they need to
Pause it.
compromise.
He's talking about 1968. And no, not even 72. McGovern won it before the convention. So he's talking about two examples, one sort of, one totally
And Elizabeth
not
Warren
exactly.
is not advocating for socialism.
And Elizabeth, right.
Frickin' God.
And so neither of which have happened at any time during anybody in this room being born.
Also, is the presumption that Warren would just absorb Sanders' support is contradicted by Warren's current coalition and Bernie's coalition.
So literally nothing he is saying is borne out by anything that's happening. I mean, this is sort of like, Bill Maher is that
let me wax pontificate about
honestly, Bill Maher, I think there was a time where he's pretty funny. I'm not going to lie. He's at a point now where we're like, and I don't care about his politics. Like, if he was still funny, he could say all this stuff and I would be a lot more forgiving. But we're at unfunny and weed head Thomas Friedman level. All right, let's finish this.
Convention, and it's deadlocked. This has happened before in American politics, and they need a compromise candidate. I'm looking hard at Amy Klobuchar. You know why? Because,
Crystal!
Crystal, look at that face.
I like you, but when they put generic Democrat on the ballot, they win. So you don't have a she's a woman, so that helps. That moves a lot with the rest of wokesters, and then she's.
yeah, all the women we've elected president.
Right.
Yeah.
This has happened before.
Yeah.
This has happened before.
There was a brokered convention, and then there was a woman that nobody liked, and then she became president. It's happened before.
Of wokesters, and then she's.
Why do you think that economic populism, whatever you want to call it, socialism, democratic socialism, etc., Medicare for all, is so unpopular when a poll just came out that had Bernie Sanders beating Trump in Texas by more than any of the other candidates? The last 20 polls have shown Bernie Sanders beating Trump. And here's the other thing, though. Meaning
Pause it. Meaning
He's
what you
such an
just said
arrogant
is
fuck.
nonsense. What are you talking
He's
about?
such an arrogant prick. Yeah.
What? Arrogant prick, of course, but certain arrogant pricks could still understand. Oh,
Yeah.
I get what you meant.
No.
You just contradicted what I said.
This is that whole.
I just said someone like Bernie Sanders couldn't win, and then you said he leads in Texas. Oh, I get what you're saying.
This is that whole you can lead a horse to water but can't teach him to drink sort of thing.
Yeah, you can lead an aging comedian to a head shop, but you can't fill his bong for him.
Bernie Sanders beating Trump. And here's the other thing, though.
Meaning
that you don't need a centrist to win. Centrism is why we have lost. It's why we lost 1,000 state house seats. It's why we lost the White House. We ran a centrist. We lost.
Come on.
Let's go back to the part where he says Klobuchar and then it goes to Crystal's face.
Yeah, this is a good face.
Politics, and they need a compromise candidate. I'm looking hard at Amy Klobuchar. You know why? Because, there's none of this.
There was a time, though. There was a time when he was considered one of an actual progressive on TV, and he was
I remember that.
I remember really liking him. Yeah.
I used to download Bill Maher's show illegally.
I he was one of the reasons I wanted to do this or wanted to be involved.
Look, I
in
think
politics.
he's had his day. I think he's done a lot of great stuff, and it's time for them to give me his show.
Put that horse
we all
out to
know
pasture.
this.
we
This is obvious.
Again, though, I mean, the idea that anyone could, first of all, he was more supportive of Bernie Sanders in 2016 than I think we sometimes remember.
He was much more supportive. I have a theory of that, though.
But then how is he now falling back into this? It's that quick of a drop off. Your elitist Trump mania is that strong, and you've had so many cocktail parties with so many people that are just outraged about his decorum that you're this willing to run straight to Amy Klobuchar?
First of all, most enthusiasm, Amy Klobuchar has drummed up the entire race right there. So
Amy looks up at her TV
yeah.
Did I take
Amy Klobuchar is like, wow.
I heard my name?
Weird historical leaps
Did I
that
take
don't
my
make sense.
Ambien too quickly?
Yeah. So, but my theory though, I think this is actually where Bill Maher is like a lot of people that are supporting Warren for the wrong reasons right now. No, I mean, honestly, I think in his case, I think my guess is even more crude. Is like when you really don't think Bernie's going to win, it's cool and it's hip and it's like, no, hey man, I support Bernie Sanders. But when it's like, wait a second, he might actually win, and I as a multimillionaire am going to have to actually pay some more taxes. Yeah. No, I think it has an effect. I think it's different when I think this is a dynamic. We'll play this WFP clip in a second. I think there's a dynamic, including people who ostensibly are even fighting for things like single payer, but their whole career, their whole organization is kind of predicated on losing. And then all of a sudden it's like, yo, we could have a big win here. And they feel uncomfortable with it. But anyways, Bill Maher, Matt.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. See, weed's bad for you, folks. You can't do the sound drops. You're interested in Amy Klobuchar. It's a disaster.
I know. Matt is voting for Amy Klobuchar. He told me.
Matt's
Believe me, not good. No good. Really bad for you. Not good. Believe me, not good.
Can we do that one more time, please?
Not good. Believe me, not good. No good. Really bad for you. Not good. Believe me, not good.
Joe, why is your wife passing me notes?
We're back.
So gross. Joe, why does that? All right, let's take a few calls and then we'll do this WFP clip. You're calling from an 818 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Afternoon, honkies. This is Corn Pop.
Oh my God. You know, Corn
Back
Pop.
from the dead.
Corn Pop, I heard, first of all, honor that you're calling TMBS. Welcome. I heard you're a bad dude. Is that fair? Is that true?
I've come to clear the air about that story. One, Biden better keep his name out my mouth. That jive-ass turkey. Also, the dispute was really about Joe Biden's wife. That's all I have to say about it.
Wait, so you also saw Joe Biden's wife as well?
Well, if you mean saw, by pleasure, then I saw her, yeah. So, and that's what the fight was about. That's all I'm going to say.
Amazing.
Indeed.
You have anything else to add, Corn Pop?
3-0-3-3-0, and help me.
Yeah, that's what you were saying too.
All right, Corn Pop. Thank you.
Enjoy that chain.
Oh yeah. Yes, but before I go, I would like to drop some plugs.
Yes.
Other than there's a little-known Twitch streamer named Mike from PA who does streams every day. So when it's not Tuesday, go check Mike from PA out.
Okay.
But props to TMBS, always good stuff. And Mike, just remember that Joe Biden is a sucker. Peace out.
I'm not mad at that at all. You're calling from a 609 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Michael, what's up, man? It's Eric from Jersey.
Hey, Eric from Jersey. Emma feels right at home. How's
What's
it
up,
going?
brother?
Hey.
Yeah, what's going on? Emma, how you doing? Hey, weird. Last time I called and you were on the show, too.
Yeah,
we
I
talked
remember
about
you,
why
Eric. How you doing?
the shills at the pharmaceutical companies hope shut down
We
the
did talk
marijuana
about that.
legalization.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Philly show, by the way, too. Big fan.
World Cafe.
I
Get
wanted
your
to-
tickets. Come on, people.
Can't wait.
Don't be foolish.
I want to talk about also how bad the debates were, particularly on what is supposed to be the most important issue to Democrats right now, healthcare. And considering that, I think we're getting pretty ripped off in terms of the quality of the debates. But real quick, tag team match, Joe Biden and Corn Pop versus Cory Booker and T-Bone. Who do you think would win?
I forget the T-Bone story.
Well, look.
Cory Booker played football at
Stanford,
right? Stanford.
Yeah, he was at Stanford. That would actually be awesome if Cory Booker went to Stanford.
Yeah, I think
he just let everybody say Stanford.
I let Corn
instead.
Pop fall into my subconscious again, but yeah, I'd take Cory Booker.
I would take Joe Biden and Corn Pop. Corn Pop's a bad dude.
fun.
Joe Biden, I think, would be wily in his day. Cory Booker, I don't care how many football games he's been in. I don't care how many weights he's lifted. He's a cornball. I'm going
but not a Corn Pop.
And Corn Pop is a real person. My
Pop.
understanding is that T-Bone might not be. I'm going Corn Pop and Joe Biden, but it might go the distance.
Good answer. Yeah, it's a good question because T-Bone is a fictional character and Corn Pop actually existed. But it's been pretty disappointing because they're basically stuck on stupid with this. Like, okay, Bernie, he wants to eliminate insurance. Buttigieg wants to do this very mysterious Medicare for all who want it, where you're somehow going to fund a system when you don't even know how many people are going to sign up for it and actually put enough money into it to pay for what everybody needs versus what everybody knows is going to happen. It's going to be underfunded. They're not going to pay people. They're not going to pay enough, and everyone's going to go flock to private insurance. Those costs are going to rise, then everyone's going to get mad at Buttigieg's plan, and it's going to deliver a nice, talking point for the Republicans to go repeal it again. Or Biden, who's like, let's just make a few new tweaks. And it's like the only one who's talking about this with any sensibility is Bernie because, and again, I'm not of the mindset where single payer is the only way that you can do it because that's just not empirically borne out by how the rest of the world does healthcare. But no one else is laying anything else coherent on the table. And the idea that, we got this great system, we just have to make some tweaks where we can get everybody access to it. No, Bernie understands that we have a fundamentally perverse system that has all the wrong incentives, and he talks about this repeatedly. The function of the current system is to line a handful of pockets, create giant streams of profits, and the taking care of people is kind of like a byproduct when the function of a healthcare system is actually supposed to be to take care of people. And if we stay stuck on this, like, you want to take people's insurance away? You want to do this? We're not even getting into the heart of all the problems with the incentives. And the Medicare for all things good, but it's a start. We're going to have, because people are still going to be running all those same profit motives if we don't fundamentally change the way that reimbursement structured within Medicare. So we've got a lot of work to do.
Tweak the system. That's what your wife asked me to do, Joe. All right, Eric. Thank you for the call, brother. See you in Philly.
Can't wait, dude.
Thank you, brother. All right, one more quick call, then we'll do some more sounds. You're calling from a 7... Wait, hold on. Let me try this again. You're calling from a 760 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Michael, this is Amy from San Diego.
Hey, Amy, what's going on? What's on your mind?
So I recently saw this clip of Ben Shapiro talking about rap music, and I felt like you were the perfect person to talk to about. You actually have an appreciation for rap, and I just what he said was really dumb.
I've seen this clip. We didn't pick it because honestly, like Ben Shapiro, because I only want to punish myself so much. But what's amazing about that clip is you said, like, yes, I do have appreciation for rap. You know who else has like an appreciation for rap music? Basically everybody on the planet. Yeah. I literally don't. I mean, and we're now at the point, like, we're in the phase now where, like, legitimately, like, and my mom is cool, but she's like, no, like she's like, no, Nas is smart. I like listening to that. Like, it's not
my
her
mom
goal.
told me she likes rap because she likes Ed Sheeran on that one song. So
Yeah.
Your mom's a little more woke.
I think that my mom is doing a little bit better.
Because Ed Sheeran kind of speaks real quick that one time.
My mom sort of like Nas talking about what was happening in the 90s, but it's okay.
Yeah,
we all have different moms.
Mama.
Michael.
Yes. So
Michael, do you listen to Logic?
No, I actually don't.
He's pretty good.
Should I listen to a lot? I said last week with Napoleon the Legend.
I think he's all right. I mean, I don't know. I like rap. I'm not like amazing. I'm really bad at current music.
Amazing.
I listen to like 70s rock, 50s R&B, and then 90s hip hop a little bit.
So you listen to Bad Boy Records, Rolling Stones, and doo-wop. Amazing.
Kind of. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually a great lineup. I
Logic's
listen to all that stuff too.
Logic of the like. At least he's not like 2 Chainz or like these sing-songy
I like
guys.
2 Chainz.
I'm sorry.
Excuse you.
I
like 2 Chainz more than Logic.
Yeah, 2 Chainz is more fun.
So am I in the minority here?
Yes.
Probably. I mean, I admitted to Napoleon the Legend last week, who, by the way, is really great, legit. He's not just we played him, check him out. But I said, I like rap that's about like killing people and dealing drugs and like,
Yeah.
That's what I like.
I don't like Chance the Rapper, though. That's my hot take. Keep going. Sorry.
Wow, all the takes.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that Logic like does a mixture. He does like he likes to have a message, but he also likes to like have fun with his music, and he talks about that. So he's just one of my fave.
I'll check him out more because you said so, Amy. I will check him out, and I will. The last the new record that came out like at this point, I feel like almost even a year ago now. I thought Meek Mill's latest album was amazing.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I totally agree.
But I stay dated too. I listen to Dipset all the time. I listen to Nas records. I listen to Biggie records. Also, of course, I like the Lost tapes too.
The new A$AP Ferg's awesome.
The new A$AP Ferg is actually good. I heard some of that. But the Lost tapes, Queensbridge Politics, Nas is the best who ever did it. Sorry.
Interesting.
He really legit when he's in his form, best who ever did it.
I have to do some more research. I'm only 23, so I'm very into the new rap, and I need to do more research on the older stuff.
Who else would you suggest besides Logic? Give us one more name, if you can.
I would. Ooh, okay. So let me see. I would say. Oh, that's a big question. I would say probably either Logic and Machine Gun Kelly. He's different, and I think you would like him because he does have a lot of like kind of dark topics in his music and like not killing, but like violence.
So you like that rapid fire?
Matt doesn't like the. Matt,
yeah.
Can I?
I don't listen to white rappers.
I just want to say, in general, right now, for everybody, Kofi and Burna Boy. If you're not listening to those two artists, you're not living. And we need to elevate ourselves in this era. So I recommend those two. Amy, thanks a million. Thanks for the call. Listen to Dipset. Listen to Nas. Thank you.
NWA.
And Slim Thug.
And wow. Wow. I knew there was.
You guys are too in the deep cuts for me. Like
no, NWA is a deep enough cut.
No, please. Everyone knows NWA.
That's true. Emma was watching like an HBO docu. She was like, and then Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre became friends, and then there was this group called NWA, and everybody thinks it's about selling drugs, but they were really talking about the police in California.
Oh my god! No, so I should have said Wu-Tang Clan, I guess. Because that's really just what my boyfriend's been getting me into lately, and I'll be like, okay, who's this one now? Like when they're
DaBaby. I always have trouble saying his name, but I can't remember if it's one or two words, but DaBaby is awesome lately. Yeah.
DaBaby.
Listen to Coffee. Yeah. Listen to Kofi.
I don't know any music.
Listen to Kofi and Burna Boy. Seriously.
K-O-F-I?
K-O-F-F-E-E. And I saw Burna Boy in Prospect Park with my girlfriend a couple of months ago. Insane. And the way you can meet those two is he has a song called Ye, which is old now. It's Y-E. And she...
Like Kanye? All right.
Sure. And she covered it at the BBC studios. Check those out. They're great. Let's Can we trash the WFP a little bit more, Emma? I did a lot of it in the beginning of the show.
Yeah. No, let's go.
What's your basic read on it before we play this like totally embarrassing clip?
Okay, so if they were an objective source of trying to find the candidate that was most pro-worker, come on.
And that's from a Warren supporter.
Someone's gonna take this seriously.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. All right, go ahead. Let's reset.
But
they're the most pro-worker.
So obviously, if this was an objective like analysis of the candidates, Bernie's the most pro-worker. He's going into Walmart board meetings with workers. He has a history of this, a multi-decade history of being pro-worker, pro-union, all of the time. Although then you see the debates and or some of the corporate Democrats, or I forget if this was in the debates or not, but they're trying to paint Medicare for All as anti-union, which is hilarious.
That is the most incredible nonsense I've ever seen.
So obviously they're not above making political calculations.
What do you make of them not releasing the vote totals?
Come on, they did it in 2015.
Right.
When they backed Bernie.
Yep.
They're not doing it now. When they back Warren, they are trying to make it seem like it's a regular up and down vote. And they released that she got 60% or something in some sort of
the weighted vote.
The weighted
vote that was 50%
but
the
there's,
board.
Right, exactly. But there's no discussion of how the vote was weighted. And then
Well, we know how it was weighted. It was weighted that the board got the same power as the membership. They
right,
got 50-50, right.
But like proportionally, whatever. So like there's just unlimited discretion if it's 50-50 that the board has. And so basically they don't want to release the totals, speculating because Bernie probably got from members the actual vote, and then the board back the horse that they think is going to win in Elizabeth Warren.
Might keep their model of ineffectual,
which is probably a
and failing outside
bet right now. Yeah, but I don't know.
Which one's a decent bet?
I think Warren at this point is more likely to win.
No. I'm talking about the WFP as a group.
Oh, yeah.
Their relevance in current politics.
I mean, they endorsed Crowley over AOC.
They endorsed
Cuomo over Cynthia Nixon.
He just utterly humiliated
and then
them.
Warren supporters are like, oh, well, this is just the local branch.
They endorsed Cynthia Nixon.
They gave Cuomo the ballot line after that.
Sorry. Thank you for correcting me on that.
Cuomo totally humiliated them.
Yeah.
And this time they finally did something. And they also did nothing on Atlantic Yards. I actually still think Bernie will get it, but it's going to be hard, very hard. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But first, you know what? We've said a lot, and I've certainly said a lot in the course of the whole show. I've used the word cuck, among others. Here is the head, the political director. Is he the executive director or the political director?
Introduced Warren yesterday at the rally.
Okay. Well, it's really interesting that Maurice Mitchell would introduce Warren at the rally because he did a great job of CNN of advocating all of her policies.
Why Warren and not Sanders?
So let me just first say that it's 2019 and we have two structural change, big, bold, progressive candidates that have built huge grassroots followings in the democratic process.
But you picked one. Why?
Right. And so our grassroots members and our volunteers and our state committee, we engaged in a very long process and we came out.
I actually
I'm so
like
proud
that
of the
about
process
him.
and so proud that we chose Elizabeth Warren.
You picked which one?
tell you-
Why?
Wait.
Hey, you with the Will I Am hat.
In the young,
I understood. That's why you're on the program. Which one did you pick and why?
On the Young Turks, we played Anna's segment with Anna on the panel, and Cuomo, when it was on his show, and the Trump guy that she was debating went, I'm not an expert on this. And Cuomo goes, true. I just went too high, but it was like, true, in that tone of voice.
That's awesome.
So what did he just say there again?
But why?
Oh, yeah.
Like he does it very emphatically and clipped.
Cuomo can sense bullshitting, I guess, in certain cases.
He's got some capacity.
Yeah, but and his rebuttals and follow-ups are just like extremely succinct.
Right. And so our grassroots members and our volunteers and our state committee, we engaged in a very long process, and we came out. And I'm so proud of the process and so proud that we chose.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Let me tell you why.
proud of your
Trust the
process, homie. I don't know about that.
It came out, and I'm so proud of the process and so proud that we chose Elizabeth Warren. And let me tell you why. So, I mean, if you look at her, you know, they joke about she has a plan for it, right? But if you look at it and you take a step back, so the Green New Deal, so we could save the planet.
Bernie Sanders.
This part feels like trying to wing it in a job interview. You're not quite prepared.
And she also just backed out of the next climate change forum.
But she also literally does not. She put forward
no
a
one except
green
Bernie's going to
military. Bernie Sanders wrote and put forward a Green New Deal. Like he's lit. It's like you're winging it at a job interview, and then you're naming projects that another company put forward.
Yeah.
If you look at it and you take a step back, so the Green New Deal, so we could save the planet.
Yup, I would do that. I would definitely take a step back.
Historically, big picture housing policy.
Federal. Okay, pause it. He does this on the day that Bernie Sanders puts out the most ambitious housing policy
project,
in modern, like literally since the new, actually
it's
ever.
not convincing.
Ever.
Yeah.
He has a federal housing guarantee. Okay, what else has Bernie Sanders done that I don't even understand what he's saying here. Okay.
Policy. The Medicare for All, to take the insurance companies between you and your
advocate
doctor.
of Medicare for all in
healthcare could be
politics.
I mean, even the lame Democrats
Elizabeth Warren
are
doesn't
shouting
even
out Bernie in the debate, saying, "I'd like to thank Senator Sanders for all of his work on this issue."
Warren is still unclear on
Can
that.
I just say that really quickly?
Please.
We should always remember that we are 2.5, or it's been 2 years since Bernie first introduced Medicare for All. Now, every single candidate on the debate stage has to say, from political pressure, that they're in favor of it, even though when they're not. It's just like a remarkable feat that we should always step back and look at.
100%. Well, the whole context we're in, he's outlining. Yeah.
And your doctor, right? So healthcare could be a right and not a commodity that's traded.
Bernie does the same things, and he wrote the damn bill.
That's absolutely right. And we have so much respect for Bernie and his followers. And in 2016, we endorsed Bernie. In 2020, you have a field of dozens of candidates. And so we wanted to engage in a process that was deeply democratic, where we could decide early what to do.
Why?
What is the urgency here? I mean, look, it's so odd. I don't know. I can't take much more of this. They have totally destroyed any remnant of credibility they had. And they already were. We have to look really carefully at institutions and projects that were set up to advocate policies when they were impossible to pass. And now when they are on the verge of actually having an opportunity to acquire power,
a good point,
not supporting going the clearest and most direct route to power.
Well, it's also just so political in terms of like who people know and who people rub elbows with, and we don't know a lot of that behind the scenes, right? But I'm sure that there is an alluring aspect to the kind of more cozy aspect of the Warren campaign.
Of course.
And
of course,
no matter how many times people say they don't want to be in certain clubs, it's easier to be in the club.
Absolutely. That's it. It's club. It's pure. It's club. It's social capital. And that's why really, one area I will be very sharp at Warren on is like, no, she's not running on structural change.
As opposed to the other areas?
Well, I mean, what let's say, okay, foreign policy, military policy.
I'm not saying. I'm
plans.
Just pointing it out. Yeah.
I do think the rhetoric, though, I mean, it's like it isn't. It's not structural change. I don't think, although she's now trying to, say, oh, it's a movement too, because that's clearly, she's trying to play both sides. But that's the clear thing. It's like progressive liberalism versus structural change. Yes.
That's it.
And
I think Warren could win versus Trump, actually. I mean, I'm worried about it, but it's not with a movement. Like, this is not a movement. This is like liberals kind of coming to their senses a little bit, and like...
Which, years ago, I wouldn't have imagined that we could have had a candidate like her.
Right.
But we have both now.
Well, I wanted her in 2016.
Right.
100%.
But now this is the moment we're in, and we have two. And they're both front runners.
And the larger point is that we already have movements like the Justice Democrats and the Democratic Socialists of America that have been very effective at creating that change, that we don't really need to worry about an organization which seems to be too timid to enact that, and over the past few years has continually endorse more centrist candidates because they're afraid of losing their ballot line, while DSA was able to beat their endorsed candidate, through AOC, and we're seeing across the board that's Joe Crowley. That has the fire behind it.
The Working Families Party.
Well, why are we even having I love this segment because it's fun to dunk on them, but no one outside of our circles gives a crap. I said the right word. About what the Working Families Party does. Seriously, people in the middle of the country aren't waking up and caring what the Working Families Party does. I think we care a little bit more in New York because of the history of the Working Families Party here. But other than that,
I totally agree. All right, we're going to sneak one or two more calls, and then we're going to do 2 more pieces of sound. All right. You are calling from a 504 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Jeff from New Orleans. How you doing?
Sorry, will you tell me your name again?
Jeff from New Orleans.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on?
I live in the middle of the country, and I don't give a damn about what the Working Family Party does.
Okay.
There we go. Thanks for proving my point.
Yeah, you coming in with an able assist for the great Emma. What else do you got in your mind, man? I don't really care.
It would have been helpful for Bernie if they endorsed him.
Yeah, it would have been helpful.
Well, it's helpful for Warren that they've endorsed
Which
her.
is why it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, not if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah, I want to make it a liability now.
I think we've been covering it pretty well. I think we've. All right, what do you have on your mind, man?
So, I just want to talk a little bit about how Working Families Party actually reminds me a little bit of what some of the unions did last time around.
Yes. Yep.
Some of the what? I'm sorry?
What some of the unions did last time around.
Right.
Yeah.
So last time, AFT, my union, they decided to go for Hillary Clinton without even talking to the membership beforehand.
Right.
But if you look at them this time around, after they got their bell rung, and also after Bernie starts rolling out the most far-reaching education and labor programs out of anybody by a million miles, looks like they're frozen in their tracks. And it's almost like we have an opportunity here to kind of democratize this process and have members be more represented.
I agree with you 100%, and we're going to see this dynamic play out 100%. I actually think a lot of unions, will either go for Bernie or Biden, an extreme version of that.
Well, what do you think about Randy Weingarten kind of cozying up to Bernie? I mean, he's always had this deference to her, despite their very early endorsement of Hillary Clinton. So, as a member of AFT, what's your take there?
I'm fine with it. If union heads are going to move closer towards movement campaigns, that's a good thing, And one of the biggest problems I've had with my local organizing is bringing in the labor unions, because anytime anything sort of goes against them, they've backed off a little bit, and there's been this almost a cloister that it's hard to kind of get through to them sometimes.
Thanks for the call, man.
Bureaucracy, baby.
Yeah, thanks for your work. Thanks, brother. All right, let's enjoy. Do you have the Kamala Harris thing? Because I just want to enjoy this a little bit. So there is a new poll out where Andrew Yang has taken a lead over Kamala Harris in her home state of California. Why do you think? Very sad. Why do you think this is happening, Emma?
Oh, man. I mean, California is a progressive state. She's not a progressive.
But neither is Andrew Yang, really.
Neither. That's true. But he has the veneer of progressivism, which you have done so much good work in debunking.
Those are lies. Look at the progressive curve. I'm tweeting
smears.
They're smears. They're smears.
Right.
They're smears. Let's actually... I have a theory as to why, but first, let's look at a little vintage Kamala Harris. And this is honestly, these clips make their go-arounds. What's going on with this? Yeah, I mean, have you seen this one before?
I think so.
All right, check this out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I say with all love and warmth that part of the concern also for people who
feel the warmth, folks.
I feel a lot of love. Feel a lot of love. Oh, you have type 2 diabetes and you work 3 jobs. Yep, sorry, but your kid didn't get to school on time. You're going to jail. I say it with love.
Your chuckle over these topics makes me feel a lot of warmth, Kamala.
A lot of warmth.
Okay, so I say with all love and warmth that part of the concern also for people who are progressive thinking and liberal minded, or just progressive thinking in terms of just fix it, is that we all have these posters in our closet that is attached to a stick that we sometimes will card out when we're talking about criminal justice policy and those statistics that you first heard when we opened it up,
She really
incarceration.
does condescending
and we run
squint
around
well.
with these signs.
Yes.
Build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere. Build more schools. We protest. Build more schools, less jails.
Activists. This is beautiful.
Put money into
That's
education,
actually
not
so
prisons.
transparent. It's hilarious.
There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. And it's this. I agree with that conceptually, but you have not addressed the reason I have 3 padlocks on my front door.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I have seen this. She reminds me of just like every condescending like friend of my parents.
She is definitely the condescending friend of your parents candidate. But here's the thing. I think that Andrew Yang, even though his plans are disastrous and gimmicky and silly and embarrassing, yes, I said all of those things.
Whoa, earth's shaking.
I know. It's okay.
It's a Yang quake.
You're still here. You're still breathing. He's centering actual material problems. He's talking about joblessness.
He's talking about manufacturing.
He's talking about manufacturing. He's talking about people losing their livelihood. He's talking about the loss of purpose and the loss of self-esteem that corresponds with that.
And
the
just talking about these
yes.
like things, like just talking about manufacturing, just talking about that is enough. It's enough for so many people because they're desperate for it.
Totally. It's the innate credibility build of somebody who's running like totally a gimmicky campaign with a lot of problems if you drill down on it. But just the fact that he can put forward some serious analysis and seems concerned about it will put him ahead of like the perfect consultant DNC engineered candidate imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
Who a big part of her problem though is that she is for another time politically.
Yeah, and I thought she could adapt. I
thought so too.
I
totally thought so. I really went over. I thought she was going to be the center right lane.
Yeah, I mean, there's still time, but I know that there have been articles about how her corporate donors are threatening to pull out because she hasn't been performing well. Hilarious.
Wow. All of a sudden, it's like maybe brutal metric systems aren't so nice.
Yeah, I know. Now I want to do small dollars now.
Yeah, maybe you want to do small dollars and have qualitative valuation.
It is very, very disturbing when I hear the millionaire or billionaire word. And I told them to stop it, knock it off.
Got it.
Knock it off.
We got the message from him.
Well, yeah, and so Anyway, I think that that's part of why she leaned into this really platitude heavy, completely policy free performance in so many P's there in the last debate, because she was trying to appear as all things to all people.
Totally.
And that's also why she just went after Trump, because that appeals most to donors. And Buttigieg does it, but he does it better than her.
Isn't it amazing how both Buttigieg and Kamala, they both nod to like Medicare for all, for instance, and Buttigieg is a little bit better at being fluent in the language of structural change.
Fluent is a good word for him. He's certainly fluent.
Yeah, but it's all we see. It's very thin. And also Howard Schultz dropped out because he said people online were being too mean to him. Now
we did our job, guys.
Well, that's the thing is both those things all point to the fact that the people who actually pay attention want something.
They want
these people
real.
aren't really prepared to offer.
No, I think that's 100% right. All right, let's talk about Mayor Pete for a minute, and then we'll go to Kashmir for a minute, and then we'll get close to wrapping up. But TYT Investigates just dropped a huge revelation, which is basically, and we'll play this clip of the great Anna Kasparian summarizing this in a moment. But essentially, there's a bunch of email messages that Mayor Pete has pretty much been like, well, I couldn't even talk about that if I wanted to. I don't know anything about that. The whole conspiracy to fire a black police chief by a cabal of racist people. I don't know anything about that. I think we need to come together as a country. Well, it turns out maybe he did know something about that, according to this really good investigative work from TYT Investigates. Let's play a little bit of Anna summarizing that.
TYT Investigates has seen previously unreported legal documents detailing secret recordings of South Bend police officers allegedly conspiring to work with Buttigieg's campaign donors to influence him to fire and replace Boykins. One officer is quoted as saying, "It is going to be a fun time when all white people are in charge." How do we know about the tapes? Former South Bend Director of Communications, Karen DePape, heard the recordings and described them in an internal police report back in 2012. Over the previous year, first while dealing with dysfunctional phone system equipment for the police department, DePape came across around a dozen recorded conversations that she said alarmed her. In a deposition later, DePape said she listened to the calls because, quote, "It was something I considered illegal." Buttigieg has refused to release the tapes, arguing that it would violate federal wiretap laws. And Buttigieg has said he does not know what's on the tapes and that he's not sure he can even ask. But these legal documents show that city attorneys acting on his behalf did ask, and the city does know. Because after DePape filed a wrongful termination suit, the city attorneys sent her a list of questions about the tapes. And she answered, describing in detail what she heard in these recordings. TYT Investigates has seen the documents revealing what she heard, and here's what they said.
All right.
The documents
let's go. Okay, so we can leave
Shut
that
up,
quote
Anna.
on stage on that. And that's. What do you know about this, though? I mean, this is pretty significant because this has been like the most. I mean, there's a lot of problems with Pete Buttigieg, but this has been the most concrete. He hasn't had any answers for any of it.
Yeah.
He's been able to dodge it. He hasn't even been asked about it on stage.
He
Or
was
maybe
in the
once.
first
You're
debate.
right.
There's a natural inclination by the mainstream press to dismiss a lot of anything that comes out of TYT, so like maybe that's part of it too. But I think that there is still reporting that needs to be like continued to be done, but Jonathan's done such a great job in unearthing
Jonathan
this
Larson shouts
this particular story. And really so the details are heavy. Let me just try to make sure I get them right down. But there was a black police chief who was basically ousted by these white cops, and they conspired essentially with Buttigieg's donors, and some of them I guess also raise money for Buttigieg. Although in Indiana, your financial records can be destroyed legally, which is
let's clear those
of your
up,
donors,
guys. Let's just
which
get a
is
smooth
totally normal.
Yep.
And so there's no way of like actually knowing for sure, except that there were flyers and local data from that time that confirmed that some of these people were donors for Pete Buttigieg, and that basically they were a part of the pressure cooker that got Buttigieg he didn't, I don't know if he directly fired him, but basically ousted this black police chief. And there were something like 25 black police officers before the white police chief came into office, and then there were like 15 after that. So basically they were either ousted or pressured out, or it was such a hostile environment that they had to leave. And some of these court documents or these recorded documents show that, these officers saying it's going to be great when all white people are in charge, things like that. Again, I'm butchering a lot of this because it's cobbled together.
Takeaways. And I mean,
yeah,
we'll go to one more clip, but Pete Buttigieg, like, this is, I think people can't, I mean, they couldn't, I can't believe they could do it to begin with, but the time for like woke posturing about Pete Buttigieg is certainly
of the
over.
front runners of like whatever, the 7 people that could actually win the nomination. I think he's maybe the most dangerous besides Biden.
I agree. I just want to give credit where credit is due here. Congresswoman Jan Schenkowski from Illinois spoke out on Kashmir. The Indian Supreme Court recently issued a decree saying that normalcy needs to return to Kashmir. However, the acceleration continues. The detainments continue. There's multiple reports of torture, rights violations, kidnappings, family separations. And Imran Khan, the Pakistani prime minister, just recently warned in an interview with Al Jazeera, and not, by the way, I want to be clear, and not to defend him or Pakistan, but he did not say this in a threatening way. He said it absolutely could lead to essentially an accidental conflict. And that's already a huge danger in the subcontinent, even without this escalation. So it's important to recognize this. This is Congresswoman Jan Schenkowski talking about standing with Kashmir.
Is it going?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Jan Schenkowski. I am very, very concerned about the incursion of anti-human rights that's going on the part of India in Jammu and Kashmir, the incarceration, disappearing really of people, the shutdown of communications, the lack of just the humanitarian danger that there are lynchings and rapes and all kinds of violence against the residents there. There's hospitals that are lacking the medicines that they need. This is being brought about by, right now, the government of India, who changed its policy toward this region that for decades and decades has had a different status, self-determination, and now India
this is mostly very good.
Yeah.
I mean, we could leave it at that, actually.
Yeah. No, I'm just impressed because there's, I think, less political risk speaking out on these international fascistic right-wing issues than these politicians actually believe. And so for them, it takes courage to kind of speak out on these issues and actually a deep dive into their everyday jobs, which a lot of them just kind of skate by and want to raise money instead. So credit, an immense credit for speaking out.
100%.
It's because, that actually shows that you're intellectually engaged with your work. And I guarantee you, and there are a majority of members of our Congress are not intellectually engaged in their work. They know how to up-down vote to appease their party, and then they go off to raise money. And that's kind of how it is. So I always appreciate when members of Congress stand up on these niche issues. Not niche, but international issues, niche to their constituents.
Right. Absolutely. No, I agree with you completely. All right, final call, and then we'll take a couple of Discord questions. I'm sorry, won't get to all the Discord questions because we took calls tonight.
I might have to run out.
We're going to leave in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, great.
So you got to be really quick. You're calling from an 847 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Josh from Chicago.
Hey, Josh. What's on your mind? Got to be real quick. Thanks for the final call tonight.
Yeah, I just want to chime in about the Warren WFP thing. I mean, I think it's kind of horseshit, but I expected it. But I think, and I'm not someone who hates Warren. I read Emma posted something. I think you posted something on Twitter saying that you're either a Bernie bro or a Warren chill or something to the effect of that. That's what you're called, and yeah. I think we can be real about she is definitely a lot better than someone like Kamala Harris.
Okay, or Josh, I'm sorry, but just what's the question, man?
Okay. Basically, I was talking with someone who turned from Bernie to Warren, and they said that the thing that interested them about Warren was that they could reach the white sort of upper class liberals, and I think, I guess, do you see this as actually being a durable base that Warren can win with?
Win a national election? No, I don't. I don't think so. I think that you need a broad working class coalition in order to flip back the states that Trump won. So I have huge concerns. I don't think you're going to win on that coalition. Josh, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it.
In a primary, we think possibly.
Primary, possibly.
The Democratic primary, she can win. It's more of a question about the general with that very coalition, unless it expands.
I totally agree with that 100%. All right. I will just take one question. I'm sorry if I missed it. Get back to me. Get back to us next week. Question from teacher Lauren. Will we lose anything of value if New York drops fusion voting? Does the WFP stand for anything other than their ballot line here? No. I don't know. I don't know if we should. I mean, fusion voting, I see the advantages too. I think the WFP obviously is, I have no idea why you get involved with the WFP.
Because you don't know how your vote's going to be counted.
You don't know if your vote's going to be counted. And you don't know if they'll be transparent about the process. And there's
you don't know what the board wants?
Yeah.
You don't know any of this.
And there's far more interesting, more dynamic options.
Just do the straightforward option. Just do, vote down the line. It's fine. Yeah.
I buy that. Folks, Emma Vigeland, you're amazing. I appreciate your time as always. Look up all of Emma's work. Come see us in Philly, November 23rd. This Sunday, an illicit history of social democracy with Bhaskar Sunkara. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.